of MyMeemz Skollar web application, which is used to aggregate web pages, highlight text and parts of images, annotate those selections, and save and share them with your colleagues. The primary screen is your edit screen, which is where you will compose your documents and add your annotations. And there's a second screen for search, which is where we'll start, which contains the ability to look through your existing documents and other documents by other people which have been published and made public into the system. So in this case, we've already searched for subprime, which is one of the key words that was used in one of the documents we're going to select, and it's returned 3 examples that we've already built. In this particular case, we're going to just select one document, although we can select multiple documents at the same time. If you want to aggregate, you would simply select more than one checkbox and hit the add button, and that will aggregate those 2 documents together. So you can see it's a very powerful way to do aggregation. So in this particular case, we'll just select one of the documents, and as you see, when it's returned, we have a document. It's come from a blog called from a Connor browser, and you'll see that it gives you the URL for that particular document and the content. And as you see, we have several annotations already. In this particular chart, we have 2 sub-selections made. They're indicated with icons in the margin, and if we select one of them, you can see that it contains some text for your margin note, and in this case, 2 keywords, subprime and price, used to indicate what the content of that annotation is. Below it, we have a piece of text that's highlighted, and again selected using the icon. So let's add another piece of highlight in here. So let's do another piece into the image here. So let's just select the image, and we will just, in this particular case, select a keyword, and I'm just going to use the word house here and save. And as you can see, we have an icon that appears. In this case, only has a little red folder item indicating that there's a keyword, but that there's no text annotation with it. We can move the highlight around, and you can see that the icon tracks it. And we can also modify the size of the box as well. Now, beyond that, of course, we can then add more documents. And in this particular case, I've selected to add a document from Yahoo Finance, which has a nice chart, stock information for one of the major builders that would have been affected as a result of mortgages being made more difficult by subprime lending. So let's just select that URL. We'll now paste that in, and if we get to the bottom here of the existing document, you'll see here's the end of the old document, and here is the new document we've pasted in. It won't be formatted quite the same way as the original document, but all the requisite information is there, including the chart. And now that we have it, we can now, of course, do as we've done before, start adding annotations in this case. So let's put in something like subprime. Now, one of the nice features about the application is that in many cases you won't want to keep on adding in the same keywords over and over and risking problems of spelling. So in which case we've already selected, you can already select from existing keywords that already exist. And I'm going to select, in this case, subprime and price as the keywords. And now when we save it, as before, we have the icon in the margin with the information ready to be clicked through and the highlighted area of the chart. Now once this is done, we would obviously be wanting to do things as we're going to save it, And that's simple enough. We can save that document, and the update is now saved to the database. We could also just simply save a copy so that we don't overwrite the original one. So that way we can keep versions. Now, of course, one of the key problems is that when we do this sort of work is that we will end up with a lot of annotations. And of course, the difficulty of knowing, well, what is each annotation about? So we provided some navigation here with the filter button. And if we click on that, you'll see that each of the keywords we've used is aggregated. So let's supposing we just select the word house. If you remember, we used that for our third annotation on the first chart, and apply that. You will see now that all the other annotations in the document, both the text and the other partial images, have been hidden, showing just this particular annotation with that particular keyword. So this is a very powerful way of being able to remove the clutter from your composited document and going very quickly to the annotations that you need. And of course we could just simply scoot down the document and any others would very quickly appear in the margin that you would need, in which case there aren't any others, since that was the only case we used with house. So we have, in a sense, a very, very powerful way to firstly aggregate web documents, annotate them, navigate within those documents, and then you can share them. And the final way to deal with that is we just simply hit the share button, select your colleagues who you wish to email with the document, and send them a note. Your colleagues will then receive a link to this document, which they click will build the whole application and the document for viewing in their own browser. So here we have a very nice way of sharing of your annotations and research work with your colleagues, and indeed they in turn can modify that document for their own purposes and build on the work that you've already done. So here we have a way of literally creating a lot of extra knowledge based on existing documents in the web, aggregating that and building up new knowledge by being able to look at sets of web pages that contain relevant information and build upon that. So that concludes the demo. We hope you will enjoy using this particular application and for building on research and adding knowledge to the web. Good luck.